Hi, this is Dana, and I will pick up in this video where I left in the previous video, in which I was talking about how tarot readers can fall. And the previous video essentially was generated by some tarot readings which I've seen, and essentially it was absolutely shocking what that woman was actually saying, and how she was pleading for the Satan, for the devil, for a fallen angel, and she was actually being extremely judgmental, saying that that individual must be saved from God's justice in judgment and punishment, and that an earth angel should sacrifice herself in order to save that individual. It was really shocking to me, and so God guided me to talk. I couldn't finish that video because at some point I got a very strong attack on my throat chakra, which I know usually comes when I say something which is not doesn't make happy certain individuals who work with darkness. Now, what I will do, according to divine guidance, I will pick up from that and I will show what are the dangers, especially for other tarot readers, but also for this tarot reader who did these videos. Um, what are the dangers when you do such a thing? Essentially, I said in the previous video, the darkness and the dark forces claim you. This is really serious thing. People who think that they made a YouTube channel and they can do whatever way they want on that channel, and that they don't bear any responsibility for the consequences of what they do, are deeply mistaken. Um, as I said in the previous video, you carry the word of God. And if you decide on your path to change direction and be the advocate of the devil, and even put the title of your video that somebody has a soul contract to create a new um, 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 king lineage by breeding basically fallen angel with an angel, the Satan with an angel, devil with an angel. This is outrageous, honestly. This is really outrageous, and I God guided me to talk about this, to explain what are the dangers of being claimed, because I can tell for sure that this woman is now claimed by the darkness, for a fact. There is no doubt. When you actually make such a public statements, um, I don't know what impact it has on other people, and how many would believe it. I hope not many. But that individual who does this is being claimed by darkness. They must know this. And the current video has the purpose to explain under which conditions you get claimed by darkness. So other tarot readers will take this very seriously as well, and understand the consequences of their action, but also for other individuals in public who are listening to these readings, to understand the importance of having your own discernment, and to stop endorsing individuals who uh, put out such messages. So, how dark forces claim you? I will give just a few examples. Dark forces, and I emphasize this. I'm pretty sure that people who have done spiritual fighting must be aware of this. Dark forces under the astral laws, the laws of universe, have rights over people in certain circumstances. There are certain circumstances in which dark forces can claim you, and they have legitimacy according to um, astral laws. So I'm not talking about darkness which is being sent to you, breaking the laws of astral, okay? But I'm talking about when dark forces have rights over you, okay? This is really serious. So, what are I will give a few examples. What are the conditions under which dark forces can and will claim you. Um, if you work with darkness or for darkness, or with darkness, that is a very wide variety of ways in which you can do this. Either that you summon and work with directly with forces, or you worship forces, or you work for a cause which is clearly the agenda of a dark force, not of God. When you say that an angel should breed with with the devil in order to create a new race, then you clearly don't work for God. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can understand this. And that was the title. That was shocking to me. So dark forces can claim you if you harbor darkness, and that means you have faults of character. And this is also, of course, the envy, the hatred, the jealousy, the all the low vibration feelings, emotions, and so on. So if you harbor that, and especially if it's paired with mind power, then you actually can be claimed by darkness, because essentially you're doing the work of darkness. Yeah. If you cover for others who work for darkness or with darkness, if you know of somebody doing this and you cover for them and you do not step out, uh, then again you are considered to be claimed by darkness. If you do blasphemy, if sacrifice ritual is done on you, and this is part of a broader industry of enslavement I explained in another videos, where secret societies have systems of judicial system in astral, and essentially there's a wide practice where some people go make certain declarations in order for them to make judgment on you, and then they make judgment and punishment on you, and they do sacrifice ritual on you. Okay. Most times I don't God has shown me only situations in which these judgments are illegal. I don't know if they do anything correctly, but God showed me only those when they actually start the judgment from the outcome. So to be more clear, they say, we want to get this and this person. Okay, what can you create on it, on this person? Well, we can do slander on this, on that, on that. They go do declarations, they write declarations, slander on someone, and they use that, although they know it's fake. It's per request, it's requested that they do this, and they create a judgment and a punishment on individuals, and this is done to steal rights and so on. They make sacrifice rituals, and then basically the dark forces to which they sacrificed you to has rights over you. Okay, so you don't have that much of a war in the beginning with that dark force, as much as you have a war with the individuals who created that. And I tell you this from experience. So the dark force will say, I have legitimacy, I was sent here because of a sacrifice ritual. No darkness comes to you if because God won't allow it, and the dark forces listen to God if the astral laws are observed. Okay, and if you are a correct person. But all of these are illegal ways in which they create attacks and send darkness to you. Yeah. Okay, there is also the chance that you are claimed by justice by dark forces if you have error of judgment, so you make mistakes. God will always watch out and will try to help those who are tricked. But then, if you ignore the signals and you continue with the error of judgment, then you will go on. Um, Another situation is if you, I'm talking now about situations in which you're not directly guilty. So, error of judgment is one. Another one is if you confuse the dark forces, the trickster spirits, with divine beings. If you listen to them as they tell you to do something, thinking it's a divine being, if you talk to them as well. These are situations in which usually appear very often to people who have direct communication with God. I've done for 4 years prophetic writing, and I know I've been through it. So there are many situations in which they try to trick you, specifically because you have this gift of communication with God and conveying divine truth to people. They try to trick you. Okay, so this is some type of attack associated with the gift. Yeah, so you can get tricked by them, and essentially how they do this. Um I've done exorcism a few times, so I actually saw how it works. They essentially the process of thinking for humans is the connection between left and right lobes of the brain, rational and emotional, right? So you think of something, and then the emotional side, the right side, connects to the left side, and a certain emotion is associated to that, a certain response is associated to that thought. Okay, this is the process, left and right, and it's so usually it's the lower back of your head, under the pineal gland, and this is where they send darkness attack, dark energy, and they try to penetrate that process of thinking left and right, and to interfere, to change association between thought and emotion, make you feel scared of something which normally wouldn't scare you, make you feel to follow something which you normally wouldn't follow. Okay, so this is where they try slowly to penetrate your process of thinking, and after that they try to take over, try to tell you things to do, to see if you follow, and if you don't catch up on the way of this process, and you don't step out, and usually you have to do silent meditation for this, and I made a video about silent meditation. If you do silent meditation, then you clear this, you can clear this, but you have to focus on it, and you have to pay attention and be very cautious at all times. But if you don't, they take over the process, and at some point they claim you. There are certain things which if they ask you or tell you and you do, then they claim you. Okay, so there are a number of situations in which dark forces claim you. What happens when they claim you? Well, you're completely disconnected from the divine realm. There is no way you can get communication with the divine realm. Okay, no matter if you're prophet, if you're tarot reader, they take over everything. If you do pendulum reading, everything, they take over everything. So whatever you ask, they will answer to you. Everything, all the divination tools, everything, they will answer. Essentially, you, a claim on you means you belong to them. That means they do not allow you to connect to God. How that looks, it happened to me when a sacrifice ritual was done on me, a judgment was done on me, and I could not understand why I cannot communicate with God. And I panicked all of a sudden. I didn't know what happens. God showed me at some point throughout this, um, basically, like from an energetic point of view, how it looks. You are completely, but completely covered in a bubble of darkness, a cloud of darkness, disconnected from everything. Okay, and your communication with the divine is cut off. This is called also surprise attack, when they completely, essentially, sort of kidnap you. They separate you, they isolate you from your environment, right? Now, at that time, God showed me, as I was trying to fight it, but I didn't understand because I didn't know about surprise attack at the time. Was first time was happening. I didn't know what it means, and God showed me. Actually, Jesus showed me how I was covered in this bubble of darkness, and how all this darkness, which were entities, right? Entities, uh, all this darkness was surrounded by my spirit guides and angels, by God, by Jesus, by all my saints. So Jesus just gave me a glimpse, like for a few seconds, like a flash of this image, to understand that I'm not alone. We are here. You just have to fight through to get to us, basically. That was the image, because I was just praying, of course, and I didn't know what was happening. It was my first experience like this. So initially I didn't know what was happening. And what you have to do, as I said, you have to do silent meditation, and you have to break through all this darkness to get somehow out of it, a lot of energy cleanup, but that is not enough. And what you must understand, Lucky, sorry, my dog is playing. When what you have to understand is that doesn't go away immediately. It takes time. So you break that, and you must claim justice, judgment, and punishment from God instantly, because only God knows to what extent you are indeed guilty, or it was something done against you without your will, or was it something that you actually did for money. You sold somebody out for money and then darkness claimed you, or that there are many circumstances. So only God knows, and only God can help you. If you don't claim justice, judgment, and punishment, you cannot get out of this. When you are claimed by darkness, claiming justice, judgment, and punishment, this is the only way that you can start your fight. Okay, no matter how much you fight, if you yourself, energetically speaking and spiritually speaking, if you don't claim justice, judgment, and punishment from God, then you don't succeed. So what this current video is meant to do essentially is to show what happens when you're claimed by darkness. When you put out such messages, it doesn't really matter to me that you're a tarot reader. You do the work of Satan, and I hope people don't listen to it. But this is very serious matter, because this is not acceptable. To actually, it doesn't matter how much you were tricked. You cannot put the title of breeding the devil and an angel, and being you yourself being an advocate and blaming the angel that is judgmental of darkness if he doesn't do it, to create a new race. This is unbelievable and obviously deeply wrong. And there are consequences. Being claimed by dark forces is one consequence, and that applies to the individual who's putting out this message and advocating for it, but it can also apply to different people from the audience who would choose to follow and accept this logic. Because this is, as I said, this is a process and it will take time, and gradually they will not be claimed instantly because they were not the ones to say it and advocate it. But with time, if you accept that thought and you don't reject it as being wrong, the process of building up darkness around you to claim you begins. So it will take some time, but basically there are a lot of consequences if you do this. This is why I'm making this video, and I hope it will help people, and I hope everybody will understand that you cannot be playing with this. And this is something that actually can do huge harm on many people, and you're working against God. This must be said. You are working against God. It is not acceptable to say that when God makes a judgment and decides on a punishment on an individual, it is not acceptable that you go blaming the victim who benefits of justice from God for not going to save the one who is punished by God. You go against God's judgment. This is not acceptable, that you advocate and you try to convince people that they should go against God's judgment and God's justice on earth. As a tarot reader, you're supposed to be working for God, and you claim to be working for God, but you in effect are working against God by doing this. And essentially it's not acceptable, and it's not a clear thing how much the audience knows and understands the consequences of what you're doing and of them following you. So this is why I made this video, in order for you to listen, to try to put in perspective these situations and all the readings that you are watching. I hope for the readers, for the tarot readers, to pay more attention to what they're doing. There are many individuals and even the tarot readers who are being guided by dark forces and not by God, and some of them might not know it. Some of them might do it for money, but some of them might not know that they are not guided by God in what they're doing. And this is a matter extremely important at this point in time, especially when um, basically God's work with individuals is to get as many from darkness to do repentance and redemption. You cannot be going against God's judgment and just simply saying you have to as an earth angel you have to sacrifice yourself and go breed with the devil. Because why? Because it's not comfortable for him in hell. Excuse me. This is not the purpose. What are we talking about? The purpose is for all of us to go to light. By doing so, you're encouraging people to create a transfer of karma, which is not a fair thing. And the normal advice would be to keep away from picking up and carrying the karma of another. That one has to carry their own karma and to pay karmic debt in order to get in light. You cannot point the finger and blame the earth angels for not sacrificing themselves to bring the devil into light, because you're not going to bring him into light. He's still going to stay in darkness. The only thing, he's going to pull you down with him in darkness. That's the only thing that you're advocating. You're not advocating a salvation, a rescue. That doesn't fucking happen. If God judged and punished, that's a decision and it's the end. The only thing you can succeed and you're trying to lure people into is for them to go follow the devil in darkness and to fall themselves, to sacrifice themselves, and to live with that individual their karma, the karma which they created. And most certainly they created that karma by fighting, attacking the earth angel whom you're requesting to go and save him now. So this is really awkward thing that I watched, and this is the reason why I made the previous video and I'm making the current video. And I hope that wisdom will overcome all of this madness. This was very shocking to me to see, and I hope that this message and the previous message which I'm putting out there will help as many people to keep the straight line and to not take on themselves karma of others and to not sacrifice themselves. Those who actually want to come into light, they should do repentance and redemption and pay the karma. Okay? I said in the previous videos, they are very afraid of purgatory, and they keep crying that now that they are punished, that this is very difficult for them. But this is what they created on us. For us to get to break that karma, that bondage, fake karma which they created on us, and all the darkness attacks they sent to us, we went through purgatory. And we broke that which they created against us. Okay? So now why would I feel pity for anyone who's living exactly the hell they created on me? And why would I sacrifice myself in order to help that individual? They need they need to understand they must put in the work. This is emotional blackmail, and this is not acceptable. And it's very sad that a tarot reader is the advocate of such a thing. It's very sad. It's very sad. And I'm being polite when I say it's very sad. Okay, I'm going to end this video here. I hope this message will get to as many people as possible so they will understand that this is no Kirimara, this is something very serious. You can be claimed by darkness if you don't keep your straight line, and if you become an advocate of the devil, of darkness, and of people who play with darkness. In spiritual fighting, there is no midway. There is wrong and right when it's about judgment. All the people who have done wrong, they received numerous opportunities to right the wrongs they've done. Numerous. Every karmic cycle takes 7 years. God doesn't judge anyone after a first mistake, but they must man up to it and go through it. There is no way, easy way out, and this is even uh, more or so, because even if somebody would care to help them, even if they wouldn't get away from karma, the only thing would be that they would pay together the karma. Okay, if that devil would stay with the earth angel, but usually they will just transfer the karma. That's all they want. And the tarot reader should know better than that. This is what I have to say. You should know better than that as a tarot reader. Okay, I'm going to end this up here. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And if you feel like donating to support my work, you will find the information in the description box below. Thank you.